Okay, so on Friday we learned how to find area of composite figures. That's taking a figure and breaking it up into a few different figures or a couple of different figures, and then adding them together to find total figures. And so today we're going to take that same concept and move to a guided practice. Remember, go ahead and change your formulas on the front page for this. And so I'll give you a second to do that. Okay, so then that was to find total area, if you see right here. But if we look at our first problem, we're actually going to find the area of a shaded region. Okay, so area of a shaded region is going to take, we're going to subtract on step 3 instead of add. Okay, so subtract unshaded from area of shaded. Okay, so we're going to take shaded. That's the darker figure. And then unshaded. Remember, we label our figures, so how many we have. And then the subtraction, just shaded. Okay, so let's get started. So our first figure is a rectangle. So we have a base and we have a height. So we're going to write our formula down. Area equals base times height. And then we're going to plug in. Area equals 12 times 10. Okay, so area equals 12 times 10 is 120 meters squared. Okay, and then unshaded, we have a base times the height. Area equals base times height. Area equals 7 times 2, which is 14 meters squared. Okay, so now that we found the area of two figures, you're going to look at this as like a whole. So this even looks like a door. We can add a little doorknob right there. Okay, so if this is a doorknob, then this could be a window right here. And so if we're just talking about how much wood we would need for the door, we would have to take out this part for the window, because that's not wood, that would be glass. And so that's why we would subtract these two figures. So we would take our shaded figure, which is 120, and then we would subtract the glass part, which is 14. And we're going to borrow here 6, 0. Did I borrow from the one? No, 106. So the just shaded, which in my scenario would be wood, would be that area equals 106 meters squared. Now we're talking about meters here, so the door is not meters, but it works for our scenario. Okay, there you go. Okay, so let's try this again. Again, we have shaded figures, so we're going to find just shaded area. Okay. Then we're going to find shaded. Ooh, that's not the one I wanted. Shaded. And unshaded. Okay, so we have figure 1, which is the shaded. Okay, so this is a trapezoid. So if you look over here, here is my changed formula, which should be on your paper already. So we have base 1, we have base 2, and then this line right here goes from base to base, and it's straight, which means that that is the height. Okay, so area equals H B1 plus B2 divided by 2. Okay, so now let's plug in. Area equals the height, which is 8, base 1, which is 10, plus base 2, which is 15, all divided by 2. Okay, so remember, order of operations tells us that we are going to add our parentheses first. So 10 plus 15 is 25. Area equals 8 times 25 divided by 2. Okay, so 25 times 8, 5 times 8 is 40. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 is 200. So area equals 200 divided by 2. Area equals 100 inches squared. Okay. Okay, so now we have our second figure, which is our shaded. This is a rectangle, which is area equals base times height. Okay. Area equals base times height, which is, here is our base, and here is our height. So we have 5 times 7. Area equals 35 inches squared. Okay, so now that we have our shaded area and we have our unshaded area, if the problem is asking just for the shaded, we have to do some subtraction. So we have 100 minus 35. I'm going to borrow. Okay, so 10 minus 5 is 5, and 9 minus 3 is 6. Area equals 65 inches squared. Oops. Well, that works. Okay, so let's move on to number 3. So again, we have the shaded. If you notice, the shaded is in the shape of a parallelogram. So here's your formula for number 1. And then we have our unshaded, which is in the shape of a circle. So here's your formula for number 2. And then you have your just shaded part. So you're just okay. So go ahead and you are going to work on this, finding your shaded, unshaded, and subtract, and then press play when you have finished. Okay, so for shaded, you should have gotten 66 centimeters squared, but I do want to go over the circle real quick. They gave you diameter, and for your formula, you need radius. So just a reminder, if they give you diameter, you got to cut that in half for your radius, so your radius should be 2. So if you did not plug in A equals 3.14 times 2 squared, then you want to go ahead and press pause on this, subtract your work, erase your work, and fix it. Okay, so after you subtracted the two, you should have gotten that area equals 53.44 centimeters squared for just the shaded region. If you did not get that, then you're going to want to press pause and find your mistake, and then press play when you have finished. Okay, so number 4. So number 4 also has two figures. Number 4's first figure is our shaded. Okay, so our shaded is in the shape of, well, if both figures are the same length and it looks like a square, then it's probably a square. Okay, so remember, if you look here, it only has area of a parallelogram. So let's add square. Forgive my writing, my pen ran out. Area of a square is A equals S squared. So I would appreciate that you write that on the front of your paper, please. Okay. So for your shaded, we're going to do area of a square, which is A equals S squared. Okay. So area equals, your squared is 9. So 9 squared. What does it mean to be 9 squared? What are you multiplying for 9 squared? If you said 9 times 9, you are correct. Okay, so 9 times 9 is 81 meters squared. Okay, so then now I need you to find your second, which is unshaded. So remember, area equals base times height divided by 2, which should already be on your paper. Unshaded. Okay, so area equals base times height divided by 2. Okay, and then you need to subtract the 2 when you are finished. So go ahead and press pause and then press play when you have finished this problem. Okay, so just to check to make sure that you plugged in 9 for your height, because here's your 9, and if I drew that straight down your triangle, that would be the same height. So then go ahead and continue. Okay, so you should have gotten area equals 40 meters squared. All right, last problem. So it says Landon used a semicircle, a rectangle, and a right triangle to form the figure shown below. Which is the best estimate of the area of the figure in square centimeters? Wow, okay, so here we have 3 figures. 1, 2, 3. And it asks for which is the best estimate of the area of the figure. So this means that we are adding. Okay. So I'm going to do the first one with you, the first figure, and then you're going to do the next 2. Hoping that this video is not too long. Okay, number 1. So semicircle. Area equals pi r squared. This goes all the way across the circle, so that means that it's your diameter. So that means your radius, you cut that in half, so half of 4 is 2. Okay, so area equals 3.14 times 2 squared. This looks super familiar. If you look on number 3, we already did that, and we got area equals 12.56 centimeters squared. So, because it's already on our paper, we can go ahead and write that. Area equals 12.56 centimeters squared.